Good day, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Networking. I'm Terry Lee Harrison, and I am passionate about helping coaches, consultants, and solopreneurs be able to network in the most dynamic and lucrative way. I'm joined today by my amazing guest, Wassim Dabboussi. He is with Breakout Solutions, and he is a wealth builder, a digital wealth strategist, a crypto investor. He's a coach, collaborator, and marketer. He's a networker. When I met him, I loved networking with him. We met several years ago online. He's coming to us from the Greater Sydney, Australia area. Hi, Wassim. Welcome.
Hi, Lee, and thank you. Thank you very much for having me today. Looking forward to it.
It's my pleasure to have you today. One of the things I love most about networking and the people that I meet from all over the world, Wassim, is that I become a smarter person. I become more educated because I'm learning from all the business owners that I know, and it helps me be more in the know, and especially as I learn from people who are so passionate about their area of expertise. So I know you have some things to teach us today, yes?
Yeah, I've definitely got some things I'd like to share with the community, and I love your ethos because I believe in the same thing. Every person you meet knows something you don't know, and the moment that we realize how much we don't know, it actually humbles us to be. And I've got a strategy, or I've got an ethos that I live by, which is to always aim to be the dumbest person in the room. Always learning.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that we should all do that, Wassim. Really, we should all do that. So Wassim has, as many of you know, at Let's Talk Networking, we do the top three strategies you love to teach business owners, and Wassim has some amazing things planned for you today. Wassim, let's jump in and talk about this is my version of your number one is that crypto is part of a financial revolution that is going to change the world. That was my version of it. So tell us more about that in your version.
Yeah. So look, I think that a lot of people would understand, a lot of people would agree when I say that, the past couple of years has seen a massive, massive rise in cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies has come out from the shadows of being something that was, used by nerds. Then it was used by drug dealers and people who are doing shady things online. Then we started seeing more and more companies start to adopt crypto. And after 2020, well, two things happened in 2020. One, we had the pandemic, and then we had the halving of Bitcoin, which many people don't know what that means. And I'm not going to get into the technical side of it, but that usually triggers a bull run in cryptocurrencies. So we saw that in 2008, I think it was like 2012, 2013, 2017. So every 4 years it happens. And we had one in 2020, the beginning of one, which we kind of, it's questionable whether we're still in the bull run or we're starting to enter a bull run right now. We've had a very, very challenging week last week. So I don't know whether we are or we're not. So we'll just keep that to the side. But I think the main thing that has come out over the past couple of years is, we're starting to see very, very large corporations adopting cryptocurrencies. You've got publicly traded companies like Tesla, like MicroStrategy, ARK Invest. These are some very large investment companies from the US and across the world that are now looking and taking crypto seriously. And more countries are starting to adopt crypto as legal tender. And as you know, nobody ever wants to be the first, or nobody wants to be the last. So we had El Salvador make cryptocurrencies legal tender back in September 2021. In the past couple of weeks, we've had the African Central Republic turn Bitcoin into legal tender. A lot of countries around the world are starting to become more and more open to it. So the question is, now that we're starting to see mainstream adoption, people now go, okay, well, what is this? And this is what I want to discuss with people today, is that cryptocurrencies is a financial revolution. If we think back 100 years ago, we had the Industrial Revolution, and many people came out of that as multimillionaires and billionaires and created generational wealth. Fast forward 100 years to now, we have very, very similar environmental attributes, which is, we've had a pandemic like they did back in the 1920s. They were coming out of the Spanish flu. We're going through very turbulent economic environment across the world with inflation, interest rate hikes. We've got a war happening around in Europe at the moment. and we've got a revolution happening. So those three, those three things that happened 100 years ago are happening right now, is giving many people an opportunity to change their financial situation, not just for them, but for the future of their family. And this is why what I wanted to just get people to understand is it's in your best interest to start looking into this revolution. Why did Bitcoin rise? It's the fastest rising asset in the history of mankind. No other asset has hit $1 billion market cap in the speed that Bitcoin has. The closest was Google, and Google did that in 25 years. Bitcoin did it in about 13 years. So, Bitcoin is growing twice the speed of the internet. The internet went from 150 million users to 1 billion users in 7 years. The speed that Bitcoin is growing is going to achieve that in 4.5 years. So all of these are things that, I think a lot of people don't understand what is actually happening under the current. They're seeing the mainstream media. One day the media is favorable towards it. One day they're against it. They talk about the crashes. And look, any new asset will have major volatility. So my biggest message today is understand the revolution, understand what you need to, how you can get involved in it, because it can change your life and the life of many, many people around you. And it will.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I think that for some people, it's just new; they don't know, and it comes down to finding people that we trust to get the right information. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and I love that, and I think that's probably the biggest. I've been in this industry now for a little while, and I know the biggest challenge when it comes to this industry is trust.
Hmm.
Um, and trust is not easily achieved when you're out there in the public and you're on Facebook and social media. People don't know who you are. It takes a while, which is one of the reasons why I joined your network, because I knew one of the best ways I can grow my business is by networking with other business owners, showing up, building a relationship, building that trust so that they know who I am as a person before they start investigating the opportunity that I have. And I must say, networking has been a game changer for my business. We've grown exponentially over the past 5 months. 2020 has been an amazing year for us, and I'll put that down to the networking that I do.
Nice, nice. Yeah, networking can change everything for people, for sure.
Mhm.
Hey, Lachelle Atkins is joining us and commenting. Lachelle is known as America's Supermom Wassim. I don't know if you know Lachelle. She's one of our members, and she's commenting and saying networking is the key. That is right, guys. That is right. Thank you for that. So, point two. So many of us are in different industries. So wherever we are, wherever we're coming from, point number two would be about blockchain is going to revolutionize every industry. So tell us more about this, Wasim.
Yeah. So look, following on from point number one, the main message is that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is going to do to money what the internet did to information. So if we think back to 1997 and think about, that was the start of the boom of the internet. Between 97 and 2000 and 2005 was a massive growth area for the internet. Now, if we look back and dig deeper into the internet has been around for a lot longer than 1997 or even the 90s. The internet originally started back in the 70s. It started off as I'm just going to I thought I turned my notifications off. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. So the internet started in the 70s as obviously a military operation, and they needed ways to communicate, and that evolved over time. And then in the 90s it started to become public. Now the same thing with blockchain. When we look at the history of blockchain is not a new technology. It's a new technology that's getting mainstream adoption, yes, but it's been around since the early 1990s. So a similar time frame. Internet started in the 70s, boomed in the late 90s. Blockchain started in early 90s and starting to boom now in the early 20s. So there's that 20-30 year evolution of where things are going. And blockchain is, for those that don't understand blockchain is simply a ledger. The difference between so when you think of an accounting ledger, you enter your transactions, one in, one out, whatever it is that's happening. The where the blockchain has a cutting edge, or has an advantage, a competitive edge, I should say, is that once an entry is put in, it can no longer be deleted. unless you break the whole blockchain down. Now, when you think about this and think about things like government, when it comes to voting, and avoiding electoral fraud, it's going to affect that. Especially in developed countries or developing countries, I should say, in developing countries where there is a high number of corruption, especially when it comes to around politics. Implementing a blockchain solution in those countries is going to change the whole landscape of government in those countries and give people a true voice. Another example could be in supply chains. And you can see I'm not talking about making money here. I'm talking about real world use cases. So supply chain, for example, if you're a person that has allergies, and we know, the allergies can kill, and in some cases people need to be very, very careful. And I know of some people who need to be extremely careful what they put on their plate and what's in their house. So imagine being able to pick up a food or packaged food or whatever it is, and be able to scan a barcode or scan a QR code that actually can tell you the whole history of this package, from the moment it was grown to the moment it got to your hand, where it's been, every single location. And that can't be changed because, as I mentioned, once an entry is placed in a blockchain, it cannot be deleted. It cannot be edited. It can't be changed. This is the security part of the blockchain. So that's another use case. There's so many digital identities where people, especially in countries where there's a lot of identity theft, that can be stopped. In education, such as university degrees and things like that, can now use blockchain technology so people's records. Healthcare records can also be used in there. There's so many use cases where blockchain technology coming in is going to change the way we do business. It's going to change the way we interact with different industries. So my message is, if Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to do to money what the internet did to information, well, blockchain is going to change dramatically how we do business and make business a lot more secure and trustless. And this is where the security is. We no longer need that third party intermediary to be that trust factor. So if you're in business and you want to make sure that you're cutting edge, or you've got a competitive advantage to your competitors, my recommendation would be to start looking and start investigating how you can incorporate cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology into your business, because the next 5 to 10 years, you could be so far ahead of the bell curve that your business will have the rewards will be enormous, for lack of a better
Mm,
word.
mm. So good. So good. I'm not even sure people realize how this could affect their industry. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Mm.
Mm.
So let's talk about the third point. And I think that this is the one thing that might scare people a little bit, and that's that crypto is risky. And so it's important that we get educated by the proper people. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Look, and that this is probably one of the biggest points, one of the main reasons why our business exists. My history is, in 2017, I started dabbling in cryptocurrencies. I didn't know anything about it. I was running a full-time business. I had a gym at the time. I had a full-time job in corporate, so I had a lot on my plate. So like most people, I didn't have a lot of time to research and go deep into cryptocurrencies. But I've seen it on the news. I've seen, all over the news, Bitcoin going up from 3,000 to 5,000 to 10,000, and I realized that this is something that, I'd met someone back in 2011 that introduced me to Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $110, and he said to me, "This is going to go to $1,000 or $10,000," and I was like, maybe I should put a bit of money in there. But it was just a passing thought. I walked out of my friend's house, didn't think about it again, and I wish I put $10,000 back in. I would have had something like 100 Bitcoin by now, which, 100 Bitcoin at $40,000 today is a lot of money. But I didn't. So in 2017, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to let the boat, I'm not going to let the ship sail on me again. So I want to get involved. But I didn't know anything about cryptocurrencies. I didn't know anything about the industry. Speaking to friends, a friend of mine goes, "Oh, I just joined this group and they do this for you and they trade it. You don't have to do anything. You just deposit your money. You just open up an account there." He helped me get set up. I deposited my money, started seeing some returns. I got very, very excited. I'm like, good, this is something I need to think about. It's a bit of a passive investment. But what I didn't know was this company was a Ponzi scheme. Um,
Mm,
and because, look, the reality is we've got to understand a couple of things about cryptocurrencies. Is number one, it still is an unregulated industry. So what
mhm,
that means is, there is going to be a lot of bad actors out there until regulation comes, and it's coming. But when regulation comes, we all know what governments do when they regulate things, right? They make it so systematic and so much red tape. The opportunity is not going to be as great. So right now we've got that risk reward question. Do we get involved in this until the regulation comes and be able to, potentially profit from the upside, or do we wait for regulation and still be able to profit, but the upside isn't going to be that great? So that's number one. Number two, there is a lot of bad actors out there, and that's where I got caught up in 2017. I put about $8,000 in this company. I hadn't done my research, and by the end of the bull run, they disappeared off the face of the planet with
mhm,
everybody's money. This is the challenge with crypto: is unlike banking, once you transfer the money to someone, there's no way reversing it. There's no third party that can say, you know, person X return that money to person Y, or they've got the infrastructure to do so. That doesn't exist yet. Again, it's still a wild, wild west. So the best way, when I wanted to get involved again in cryptocurrencies after the pandemic, was to learn. And that's
mhm,
when I joined Breakout Solutions, which I'm now the chief marketing officer of. I joined them as a client, and I, paid my dues. I bought a package. They helped me get set up, and I love what they were doing. And then I put my hand up, saying, "Hey, how can I help you?" So the message here is you need to learn of someone who you can know, like, and trust. Now, getting messages on Facebook, and I get so many messages on Facebook and LinkedIn of people telling me about platforms where I can get these crazy returns, and I guarantee you 99% of them are scams. Um, so the message here is learn before you put in a single dollar into cryptocurrencies is to learn about cryptocurrencies. And the best way to do that is spend a bit of time. There's a lot of I can recommend some YouTube channels that people can get on. Like, for example, there's one called Plot 11, PLOT 11. Look that up. They've got some amazing documentaries. There's no sales on there. It's just documentaries about crypto, about the history of it, about money and everything else. It was the biggest eye opener for me. And number two, find someone that you know and like and trust, or someone that you can have an interaction with who's not hiding behind a pseudonym, who's not hiding behind, some alias, and listen to them. And this is where, I'd like you, for any of the listeners that are interested in learning more, we do have a free offer. If you go to decryptingcrypto.com, so just exactly how you say that, DEC RYPTING crypto, decryptingcrypto.com. You can sign up for our free Decrypting Crypto introduction course. You can get a newsletter. We do live streams. And what else do we do? There's a newsletter, there's a podcast, there's live streams, there's some expert events that we do once a quarter. You get a free introductory course, which is about a couple of hours long. Enough to give you enough fundamentals to see whether you want to go to the next step or not. It's absolutely free. There's no catch. You just get the newsletter once a week. We're not going to spam you. We respect everyone's privacy. We don't sell any of the information. But this is the offer we're putting out because we want people to learn from people who've done it, who've been there, not hiding behind any aliases or any pseudonyms. My Facebook is there. Anybody can check it out. I always talk about crypto. Anybody wants to join. We've got news channels, we've got groups. So that's where I would recommend be the next step. If you're not involved in crypto, please, before you put a single dollar in, spend a bit of time understanding it, because you can lose your money fast and you can get scammed easily if you don't know what's happening out there.
Thank you for all of this. Um, Supankar says, great discussion, very highly appreciated. Yes, I agree. I totally agree. So I'm going to invite you, Wassim, to put your information in the comments once we finish up, so that people can reach out to you. And if you are someone, like I said, I've known Wassim now for several years. We met pre-COVID online. I think it was pre-COVID. It seems like it, or the early start of COVID.
So this
Um,
started, yeah, pre-COVID, yeah.
Early start. Oh, I bet I know. Get this. I bet I even know. Like September, October 2020. That's my guess. That's my guess. We'll see.
Maybe.
but I invite you to reach out to him. I know he's a great networker. I know he'd love to meet you, fellow business owners, and get to know you and explore how he can help you. So reach out to him, look up Breakout Solutions, look at these resources he's given you. I think that if this is something that interests you, that this could be a great resource for you. So Wassim, I thank you for your time today. Thanks for coming on and speaking to my tribe.
Thank you very much, Shirley, and thank you for the opportunity and for Michelle and Shubanka. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for your comments. And I look forward to interacting with you guys as we get down this journey.
Sounds wonderful. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching this episode of Let's Talk Networking. We look forward to seeing you next time on screen. Have a great day, rest of your evening. Bye-bye. Thank you. We'll see you.